This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Yeah, we've got to. No. What are you doing? What are you doing? We're not ready yet.
What do you mean?
Hey. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and as a hostess of this program, I'm excited to bring even more information that empowers you as an individual to help yourself. Now, let's go ahead and let everybody in the Zoom room if they're not in already. Folks, we are live. So if you'd like to join us live, you may do so by going to dailywithdoczoom.com. That is dailywithdoczoom.com. Now, on this program, we talk about the body, the mind, everything about the body, and even mindset. And I'm super excited as, you know, there's so many different aspects to health that we really need to be cognitive of, because if one isn't in line with the others, then things aren't going to go exactly the way we want them to go. So that's just a little bit about what we may be talking about today on Daily with Doc. Now, if somebody invited you to this program, make sure that you get back with them. They cared enough and took the time to share this program with you. Make sure that you tell them what you liked best about it, and they are your first point of contact if you have any questions about what you can do to help yourself. Now, if nobody was responsible for helping you find this show, and you are not already working with a health coach or an independent distributor of longevity, then feel free to give our team a call. They are trained as certified holistic health coaches. They're trained to help you find what's going to be the best options for you and your budget, and make sure that everything is working together. They'll also be right there with you on this journey to help you make any adjustments that need to be adjusted, whether it comes to nutrition, food, exercise, all the above. Folks, we are here for you. You can reach them at 855-949-3377. Now, today is Pharmacist Fridays on Daily with Doc, and I love being able to bring a pharmacist's point of view when it comes to health, because we have so many people that have found that, or think rather, that pharmaceuticals are their only way to be able to maintain functionality. It's definitely not maintaining good health, but functionality. And today we're going to be talking about the brain. So for our Pharmacist Fridays, we have the amazing pharmacist who has been very much into nutrition for quite a while, went into pharmacy because he wanted to help people. He found that nutrition and pharmaceuticals sometimes work together, sometimes don't. And he found that the body really does need nutrition in order to help it keep from having to have pharmaceuticals. So after being fired from Kmart for recommending vitamins, he was on to bigger and greater things. And I appreciate that because there's so many different things in life that happen for us, not to us. And that is just one of the many things that has happened to pharmacist Ben Fuchs, and that is created the amazing person that we have with us here today on Pharmacist Fridays on Daily with Doc. So Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, hello and welcome. How are you today?
Hello, Rebecca. Good to see you and good to see everybody. And thanks for the kind words. Nutrition is God's medicine, nature's medicine, divine medicine. Drugs are a pale imitation. Human beings are always looking to imitate nature. In fact, drugs actually many drugs are either based directly on natural molecules or derivatives or analogous to natural molecules. So in many ways, our whole pharmacomedical model, in fact, all of technology is based on natural phenomena. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Why would we go with the toxic stuff, the artificial stuff, the synthetic man-made stuff, when we could go with God's medicine, the natural stuff, the stuff that we should be using anyway? And if we were using it, we wouldn't be needing the drugs in the first place. You know, Hippocrates famously said, let drugs be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food. But Steve Jobs had a better way of putting it. Steve Jobs, who died unfortunately of pancreatic cancer a few years ago, he said, you better let food be your medicine or your medicine is going to be your food, which I think is even more powerful than the way Hippocrates put it. And a lot of people, a lot of us, a lot of Americans and a lot of people around the world are unfortunately stuck in the position of eating their drugs, of needing their medications. And a lot of people, by the way, are not stuck in the position of eating their drugs or of needing their drugs, but rather have been convinced and have been persuaded and have been virally infected, mentally virally infected to believe they need drugs. And I talk to folks all the time, and probably even people that we know, present company excluded, of course, when folks have a rash, cough, a heart issue, whatever it is, digestive problem, most people just go right to the doctor, and then we're surprised when the doctor doesn't do anything, or even worse, when the doctor makes things, when the doctor complicates the problem or makes the problem worse. So we got to get this out of our head mentally, that we cannot do it ourselves. And that's why what you said at the beginning of the program, how there's a whole mind, body, and mental connection here, and there's our brain power, our mind power, our psychology, our psyches play various or play roles in our health in through various fashions. But one of the most important is this idea that we can't do it ourselves. With the exception of traumas, you know, you break your leg, you get into a car accident, God forbid, or some kind of infection occurs. Other than that, we can do it ourselves. And we just have to believe that we can do it ourselves. What's the number one thing we need to recover from a chronic degenerative disease? Keeping in mind that it's in the body's nature to regenerate, not to degenerate. And chronic illness should not occur. It represents an aberration. Something's messed up. Something is screwed up. What's the one thing we need to have if we want to reverse a chronic degenerative disease? The one thing is willingness. The willingness to do what it takes. And unfortunately, again, present company excluded, and that's why we're here, and that's why we're trying to recruit people to join us in this mission, which is really, in a lot of ways, a mental mission that says we can be our own health authorities. I tell a story a lot, but I love this story. I asked Dr. Wallach many years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago, I asked him, why did you call the company American Longevity? I don't know if Doc remembers this. And he said to me, it's my two favorite things. He said, health and freedom. And that's what American Longevity, now longevity, is really all about. It's about longevity, health, giving us the wherewithal, the raw materials to allow us to access and to leverage our 120-year genetic lifespan. And America. What is America? What do people think around the world when they think of America, or what a lot of Americans think? These days, probably less, but traditionally, what do Americans think about America? It's this idea that you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that you can do it yourself, that all you need is the willingness and the drive and the belief and the mind power, and you can do miracles. And when it comes to the body, we don't really have to do the miracles because the body does the miracles. It does it every day. Even when you're on your deathbed, dying of stage 4 cancer, way more things are going right than going wrong. Way more things. A single cell in your body is capable of producing 1 billion chemical reactions a second. 1 billion in a second. How does anything happen 1 billion times a second? Think about that. A billion things just happen. How does that even occur? And then you multiply that by the 100 trillion cells in your body, and you can imagine how the body is going about its business in this miraculous precision, tightly regulated and intelligent and responsive and controlled fashion every split second of every day that we're alive, even to the point of at the point of our death. Our body is still performing billions and trillions and quadrillions of chemical reactions a second. The body does the miracle. We just have to be willing to support the body so it can do its work. And that's where nutritional supplementation comes in. That's where exercise comes in. That's where breathing comes in. That's where God and spirituality comes in. And that's where mental and emotional skills and talents come in as well. So I was very happy to hear you talk about mind power. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. I personally discovered self-help when I was in my late 20s. I told the story before. I was depressed. Only time in my life I was depressed was right around the time I was 28. I was a pharmacist. I hated working at Kmart and the whole bit. And I was just reevaluating my life, and I discovered self-help. And shortly thereafter, I discovered Dr. Wallach, and I discovered longevity. And I've been on the self-help bandwagon for the last 30, 35 years or so, since I was 27 or 28. And that to me represents one of the most important, if not the most important skills that anybody can have a great life. And that's this desire to grow, and this desire to evolve, and this desire to help ourselves. That's what self-help is all about. So thank you for bringing that up. We're going to talk about the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack today, which is along the same lines. The Healthy Brain and Heart Pack helps us organically with the brain in terms of the physiology of the brain, and it's kind of a physiologic analog to mind power, mind and emotional power, SMEP, the top part of the 4 dimensions of health and wellness. And as important as psychology is, and mental and emotional abilities are, nutrition plays the same kind of role from a physiologic standpoint. And the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack exemplifies that. Now, before I even talk about the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, I think we should talk about the link to the triangle of disease. And while I like talking about the various organs of the body and the pathologies and what we can do about Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease and movement disorders and heart health issues, it's really important not to lose track of the fact that it all starts with the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the adrenal thyroid complex. Cortisolemia, hypercortisolemia, too much cortisol in the blood from stress. And stress doesn't just have to be psychological, it'll also be physiologic. Nutritional deficiencies will cause stress. And hypothyroidism. It should come as no surprise to anybody that Alzheimer's disease and organic brain diseases, as well as heart diseases, are associated with a leaky gut, associated with histamine, associated with dysbiosis, that is disturbances in gut bacteria. As you know, Rebecca, from writing that book with Doc Wallach, associated with metabolic syndrome. There's no heart disease without metabolic syndrome. There's no chronic heart disease without metabolic syndrome. There's no chronic brain disease without metabolic syndrome. In fact, Alzheimer's disease is actually literally called type 3 diabetes. It's a type of diabetes. And then hypothyroidism and elevated stress hormone are involved in all chronic degenerative diseases. So we can focus on the brain and the heart. We will focus on the brain and the heart, but don't forget about the triangle. And this is important, number one, because it works. And you will make significant differences and inroads into somebody's pathological condition when you work at the triangle, at the level of the triangle of disease. But just as importantly, it simplifies everything. And if our interest is becoming our own health authorities, simplifying everything is critical, making it easy to grasp and easy to utilize, easy to understand and easy to participate in. Everybody can participate in their digestive health simply by changing the way they eat and using digestive supplements. Everybody can participate in metabolic syndrome issues simply by changing the way they eat and using key nutritional supplements. And everybody can participate in relaxation strategies and telling the adrenal glands to stand down, lowering cortisol, and restoring the thyroid back to health. So number one, the triangle of disease, it works. It's fundamental. And number two, it simplifies everything. And we got to all, as healthcare counselors or coaches or professionals, and as business people, simplification is our best friend. Complication will turn people off. And I can see this when I'm doing my talks. If you get too complicated, people's eyes glaze over. You don't want people's eyes glazing over. You want them excited to think that they can participate. They can do it. They don't have to go to the doctor. They don't have to interact with the medical model. They can do it themselves. And that's why simplification is so important. So while I want to talk about the brain and heart pack for sure, I don't want anybody to forget that it all starts with the digestive system, the metabolic system or the blood sugar system, and the adrenal, what I call the adrenal thyroid axis. So as far as the healthy brain and heart pack goes, the healthy brain and heart pack, do you want to say something, Rebecca? Did you want to jump in?
I did, because you brought up this book, and I know Dr. Wallach was able to get on, and he is listening and watching. So I just wanted to let people know how they can get their own copy of the metabolic syndrome that Dr. Wallach wrote and I assisted with. And you can go to drjwallach.com. That is drjwallach.com. And the metabolic syndrome. So, and you had talked about type 3 diabetes.
Right. There's type 1, there's type 2.
Understand
that. Say that again.
People don't understand that there is a type 3.
Yeah, there's type 1 is the autoimmune form of diabetes. Type 2 is the metabolic form. It's insulin resistance syndrome, they call it, when the body doesn't listen to insulin as well as it should. It loses its sensitivity to insulin. And then there's type 3, which is kind of a moniker. It's not really a biochemical type, but it manifests itself in the brain. Nonetheless, despite the fact that we call these things type 1, type 2, and type 3, they're all blood sugar issues, and they all involve eating behavior in addition to nutritional supplementation. And by the way, this is something that gets missed when it comes to blood sugar issues. Minerals play a major, major role in insulin sensitivity. And mineral deficiencies, and of course, Doc is, the mineral doc, and before he was the mineral doc, he was the connective tissue doc, and that's what I want to talk about here today. Minerals play a very important role in how the body responds to sugar, and how the body responds to insulin, how cells respond to insulin. And it could very well be that our mineral deficient diet is playing a major role in our diabetes and our metabolic syndrome epidemic. One of the key facets of mineral issues or mineral deficiencies and their relationship to the disease state involves sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are two very important, arguably, the two most important of the electrolytes, and they play a major role in cellular behavior as well as in the behavior of neurology, of neurons, of brain cells and nerve cells. And it turns out that over the last 100 years or so, as the percentage of our caloric intake from processed foods and ultra processed foods has increased, our sodium and potassium balance has gotten thrown off, because sodium is not really found in nature as much as potassium is, but sodium is found in processed food way more than potassium is. So the more processed food we're eating, the more sodium relative to potassium that we're getting. The body didn't really have access to a lot of sodium historically, or from an evolutionary standpoint. So it evolved into a sodium retention machine. The body holds on to sodium. It's a precious electrolyte because it's not as abundantly found in nature as potassium. And because of the relationship between sodium and potassium, the more one you get, relative to the other, the more out of balance everything is. And the more sodium you get, because the body holds on to sodium, the less potassium benefits you're going to get. Potassium plays a much more critical role in cellular behavior, particularly when it comes to insulin sensitivity. So mineral deficiencies play a very important role, not only in the entire triangle, but specifically when it comes to blood sugar. And that's where selenium comes in. Selenium, which I don't know if I can go out on a limb. Is Doc on the call, by the way?
Doc is on the call.
Doc is on the call. I don't. I'm going to go out on a limb and say selenium is Doc's favorite mineral. I know that's the one he talks about all the time. So I don't know if I can go out on a limb and say that, but it's certainly.
Let's ask him.
Let's ask Doc.
Let's ask him.
Is that your favorite mineral, Doc?
Dr. Wallach, can you unmute?
There you go. Yeah, well,
There you go.
help me get rid of cystic fibrosis, the most terrible birth defect. Selenium also gets rid of heart disease, SID, sudden death syndrome. Okay, and so selenium.
And deficiencies are very common. Deficiencies are very
muscular dystrophy. Gets rid of muscular dystrophy. So selenium is very important. And of course, when I'm a kid and I'm seeing this being used in animals to get rid of like things like white muscle disease, which is
Keyshawn's.
Huh?
Keyshawn's, yes.
Yeah. Okay. White muscle disease. Okay. And so muscular dystrophy. Yeah, there you go. And so just giving babies, instead of them eating things like Cheerios and Wheaties and oatmeal and stuff like that, we give them the
Kids toddy?
No, well, we give them before there was kids toddy, we would give them the alfalfa pellets that had the minerals in it, including selenium. And in a couple of weeks, we could get rid of muscular dystrophy in a kid that had muscular dystrophy diagnosed for 2, 5, 8, 10, 12 years. And just in a couple of weeks, they didn't have muscular dystrophy anymore. So I've been given credit for getting rid of all those diseases. And selenium was a big factor in that.
Yeah, and then they actually call, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, didn't they name Keyshawn's disease after you, or they call it Wallach's cardiomyopathy?
That's correct.
That's right. So selenium plays a very, very important role in muscles and the health of the muscles, hence muscular dystrophy and Keyshawn disease, which is basically a cardiomyopathy, a disease of the muscle in the heart. They call it cardiomyopathy, which involves the muscle. Selenium is one of those really underappreciated minerals, elements from the periodic table. And one of the reasons is you just use tiny, tiny little bits of it. 600 micrograms or 800 micrograms a day, which is a very tiny amount. Nonetheless, that 600 to 800 micrograms a day plays an outsized role in biochemistry because of something called selenoproteins, which are specific proteins that are activated by selenium. And some of these play a very important role in brain health. Thus, the importance of selenium in the healthy brain and heart pack. Of course, it's also important for the heart. Selenium is, and selenium is important for the insulin system too, for the blood sugar system. And so you have multiple ways that selenium plays a role in mental health, or brain health, I should say, not mental health. Of course, essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs and the ultimate EFA plus, are also critically important for the entire neural system, for the hormone system. I call them nature's aspirins. Nature's aspirin. They're nature's anti-inflammatory and inflammatory molecules. And real quick, as a quick aside here, a lot of folks have a misunderstanding about EFAs, omega-6s and omega-3s, which are two types of essential fatty acids. And you'll hear people say, nutritionists, unfortunately, and healthcare professionals sometimes will say, don't use omega-6 essential fatty acids because they're pro-inflammatory. That's very bad advice, because it turns out that inflammation is a precursor to healing. And omega-6 essential fatty acids, specifically something called linoleic acid, or LA they call it sometimes, plays a very important role in the healing process because it's pro-inflammatory. In other words, you have to have inflammation to start the healing process. So both omega-6s and omega-3s are incredibly valuable for brain health as well as for heart health. They're nature's anti-inflammatories. Inflammatories and anti-inflammatory molecules, as I say, they work very similarly to aspirin, as well as the endocannabinoids like hemp, the ingredients in hemp FX. And they're extremely important for brain health, especially omega-3s. In fact, omega-3s, which technically the omega-3 essential fatty acid is called alpha linolenic acid, ALA, is especially important for the brain and for the eyes and for the nervous system in general. And moms who supplement with omega-3 fatty acids while they're pregnant women moms to be, have smarter babies and have babies with better hand-eye coordination, have babies with better vision. And this is not just true when the baby's in the womb, but also nursing moms. So if you know any nursing folks out there, or people want to have a baby, or considering having a baby, or are pregnant, get them on the Ultimate EFAs and EFA Pluses, EFA Plus, and they'll have smarter babies. And you'll notice, by the way, there's no EFAs in prenatal vitamins. So women who are on prenatal vitamins, if you know anybody who's on a prenatal vitamin, if you're out there listening, you're on a prenatal vitamin, make sure you get on your Ultimate EFA Plus or your Ultimate EFAs, because you're not getting them in the prenatal vitamins, and they're extremely important for the development of the baby's nervous system. And then, of course, my favorite, all-time favorite nutritional supplement, I know you can't see it when I show it here, but it's the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And the Beyond Tangy Tangerine also plays an outsized role in brain health and heart health. The nutrients in the BTT, to say this is as a formulator, when I see this thing, I'm in awe of this formulation that Doc has put together. All the diversity in combination with the depth of the individual nutrients is mind-blowing to a formulator. And you don't even have to be a formulator, of course, just using it and you'll feel it. And the reason people feel it so well is, number one, you got this wide, diverse range of nutrition in here. Everything from aminos to vitamins to minerals to accessory nutrients, fruit and vegetable powder. It's an incredibly well-rounded nutritional supplement. And the doses or the concentrations of the nutrients are very high. Now, I don't remember if I talked about this on a Daily with Doc. I talked about it on some podcast. I got a call when I was on Coast to Coast. I got a call from a listener who asked why there were such high concentrations of nutrients in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And I didn't, to me, that was a crazy question. But, this is what we're conditioned to believe, is that you get 100% of the RDA and you're good. Not true. Not true. The RDAs are there to keep you from dying. Did we talk about this last week? Forgive me if I'm repeating myself here.
It's worth repeating.
Okay. The RDAs are there to keep you from dying. If you're just satisfied not being dead, then go with your RDAs. But if you want to thrive, which is your birthright, if you want to have tremendous energy and not need a whole bunch of sleep or be fatigued in the middle of the day and not feel like snacking all the time and not catch every viral infection that comes your way and not have to interact with the medical model the way most people have to interact with the medical model, you need mega doses, high doses. And not only does Beyond Tangy Tangerine give you those high doses in a diverse way, a diverse spectrum of nutritional supplements with depth, with high concentrations, but on top of everything else, it's liquid. So it goes right to work. In pharmacy school, we learn about the different dosage forms. The dosage form is like tablet or capsule or liquid or suppository or intranasal squirts or IV or IM or sub-Q. Well, it turns out that next to intravenous, the best way to get your nutrient, next to intravenous and actually intranasal and suppository, is drink your nutrients. They go right to work. They bypass digestive issues. They go into your intestine and the nutrients get absorbed. So until we come up with our Beyond Tangy Tangerine suppositories, this thing is the bomb. I heard that they're working on that, BTT suppositories. I'm not sure how well they're going to sell.
Really?
Yes, I did hear that. Doc, is that true? I think I heard that from Doc.
I don't know. I don't know that Doc knows, but I'll tell you what, I prefer to drink it, and then it has the whole digestive system to have the opportunity to absorb it rather than just at the end.
Yes.
But
So
that's my preference.
You're getting nutrient density, you're getting diversity, and you're getting it quickly into the and this is why this is your best as a longevity distributor. This is your best friend, because on top of the fact that it's liquid and it's diverse and it's got nutrient density, we have the great gift of the human body, which is the more deficient we are, the faster our body absorbs the nutrients. Like a dry sponge sucks up more water than a wet sponge. So this is mind-blowing to people who don't supplement. And never forget, and I forget this sometimes, because we hang out with people who understand nutrition. Most of our friends, and certainly people on the calls and people in our business, are already predisposed to understand nutrition and understand the importance of nutritional supplementation. But still, the vast majority of our neighbors, the vast majority of Americans still don't understand how important nutritional supplementation is. So when you give somebody some Beyond Tangy Tangerine, it's life-changing. Yes. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, there are so many people that think, oh, well, I'm on this pharmaceutical. I'm okay. I'm under control.
Yeah. Well,
Or think they're under control, or
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with that.
Yes.
I just take for it.
Yes. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir here because everybody in this call knows how ridiculous that is, but your point is very well taken. Drugs are not supposed to, drugs cannot heal anybody. If your object is to be healthy or healed, same word, it's not going to happen with a medication. I'm not saying that because I'm being Pollyannish. I'm just being literal. The job of a drug is to suppress a symptom. Do you need that sometimes? Okay, sometimes you do in the short run, but it's not going to get you healthy. It's not going to add years to your life. It's not going to support your longevity and well-being. In fact, even if you don't know it, and many people don't, you're becoming more nutritionally deficient with every drug you take because your nutrients have to be mobilized to the liver to activate detoxification machinery, detoxification chemistry, detoxification enzymes. They all require copper and magnesium, vitamin C, and the B complex and coenzyme Q10, and all the various nutrients that we use to build our body are also involved to build the detox system. And the more drugs you take, the more you're depleting them, which is ironic because a lot of these nutrients are deficient in the first place, and that's why you're taking the drug. So you could be, vitamin C is important for the heart, for example, and for the liver for detoxification. Most people think, oh, I'll get my vitamin C from a multivitamin. Baloney. You're not getting even a speck compared to what you need. Or even worse, I'll get my vitamin C from an orange or from orange juice. You need grams of vitamin C a day. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, one of its most standout features is the fact that you're getting these mega doses of the water-soluble nutrients like vitamin C. But here's the irony. Vitamin C it's arguably the most important nutrient for your heart. Certainly, it's a very, very, very important nutrient for your heart. It's also very important for the liver for detoxification. So if you're deficient in vitamin C, now you have heart disease, and you take a beta blocker, a calcium channel blocker for your heart, now you're going to deplete your vitamin C even further. So in a very interesting way, the drugs are making the problem worse, which is why the more drugs you're on, the more nutritional supplements you need. The more drugs you're on, the more nutritional supplementation you need. And one of these days, if I can get to the folks who formulate the products, we're going to start we should have a supplement for people on medication. A specific supplement, a drug detox supplement. So when you're on a medication, you take your drug detox supplement with it. And I'm still blown away to this day, by the way, when you hear doctors say, don't take your supplements because it'll interfere with your drugs. Or when we get that question, will the Healthy Start Pack interfere with my statin drug? Will it affect my beta blocker? And it's bad in this country, but in Canada and in Australia and in New Zealand, I do a lot of talks, especially New Zealand, Australia, and I love and I'm sure we have some folks from down under on this call, and I love those folks. And it's so heartbreaking how government health care has destroyed not only people's health, but destroyed their confidence in the idea that they can do things themselves. And I still get these crazy calls and crazy questions. My doctor told me I can't take any nutritional supplements because I'm on this beta blocker drug or I'm on this calcium channel blocker drug. What can I do? I still hear people saying this stuff. It's absolutely crazy, and that only highlights the opportunity we have to wake people up. Not even just the opportunity, the mission, the purpose, the emergency that we have, the responsibility, the role we have in waking people up, in letting them know there is an option, there is a choice. And because this is God's medicine, this is the choice, God's choice. This is the choice to respect and really honor the divine force that is exemplified through every single cell and every single cell action that our body takes every split second of every day. So the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack is also called it's called the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack because, as we talked about, Rebecca, both are very dependent on perfusion, on blood circulation, as well as on oxygen, and both are very susceptible to damage from oxygen and from toxicity. And obviously, both of those organs are arguably the two most critical organs in the body. Yeah, let's go ahead. What you're going to say?
Well, I think that we need to come up with a course specifically for healthcare professionals,
I would love that. I would
Pharmacist
love
Ben,
that. I've always wanted to do that.
because I have several individuals that I've been communicating with, coaching, who have had some type of gastric surgery, and they're excited. They want to get on the nutrition, and then their doctors say, "Oh, you can't take that. There's too much."
It's too much, right?
So I'm thinking, okay, you've taken a lot of the absorptive surface, because some of them are even having parts of their colon removed.
Right.
They're taking some of that digestive surface away. You're giving it just a little bit of nutrition that's not going to be fully absorbed. Wouldn't you want to have more available?
You always want excess. You always want excess nutrients. And this is kind of an interesting point. I'll tell you why in a second, but just real quickly, excess nutrients guarantee that you're going to get what you need. It's like extra money. Extra money guarantees what you want. You're going to get what you need. You know, money and nutrition have certain things in common. They're both necessary. They're both raw materials. They're necessary for you to have an effective and functional life. And in a way, supplementation, nutritional supplementation, is like a supplemental income. You're not going to get by these days on just one a regular income. A supplemental income will help you get what you want. Likewise with the food. You're not going to get the nutrients you need from food or multiple vitamin. That is not going to happen. You're not going to get the nutrients you need from food. You're not going to get the nutrients you need from a multivitamin. And to compound it, the food that we're eating is so toxic these days that you need extra nutrients just to deal with the glyphosate and the pesticides and the fungicides and all the other things that are in the foods that we eat. Even if you're eating organic, by the way, a lot of folks will think that they're eating organic and they're okay, but guess what? Your organic lettuce is watered from the municipal water supply, which has chlorine and fluoride in it. And when it comes to, not to mention whatever has not been purified out of the water. And by the way, while I'm on this subject, chlorine and fluoride are two of the most aging compounds you could ever put in your body. They're super, mega powerful oxidizing agents. And it could very well be that our accelerated aging is caused by interactions with chlorine and fluoride with various tissues of the body, with bacteria in the body, with the microbiome. Even cholesterol itself is oxidized into toxic cholesterol by chlorine and fluoride. So it could be that everybody who's complaining about cholesterol and taking the statin and wanting to be on a statin drug is just dealing with oxidized cholesterol from either chlorine and fluoride as well as from heating cholesterol. So we are inundated with toxicity. We are swimming in an ocean of lifestyle choices that are conspiring to collectively shorten our lives and cause tremendous health misery on the way to our demise. Nutritional supplementation represents a powerful tool in the fight to regain our 120-year genetic lifespan and our body's ability to deal with the degenerative process. And it's a tragedy to me that not everybody's using it, but it also represents an opportunity for us to be able to talk to people about that.
Absolutely. And we do have several hands up, so we want to make sure that we leave time for questions.
Yes.
As I know a lot of people miss our Q&A with Pharmacist Ben, where we just
What Q&A?
wrap.
You mean the Q&A we were supposed to be doing?
Q&A.
All right, let's do a Q&A. Let's do a Q&A.
All right. Well, right now we're going to have this section of Pharmacist Fridays on Daily with Doc with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs doing questions, and many of them, oh my goodness, now there's more questions coming in. Let's go to the hands that are up. We'll start with that. And if Renee, can you unmute yourself?
Where's Renee?
And just as a reminder, folks, as you're listening and something really resonates with you, make sure that you reach out. If you don't have somebody that you're already working with, if somebody did not refer you to this program, then feel free to give our team a call at 855-949-3377.
And by the
Renee.
way, Rebecca, before you start that,
Yes.
lines, we're looking for people who want to who want to be business builders, who want to be taught by us, taught by Rebecca and taught by myself and taught by Dr. Wallach on how you can help other people, whether it's your friends and your family or whether it's complete strangers. We can teach you how to do this. And yeah, you're going to learn stuff here on these calls, but we can teach you hardcore how to do this if you sign up under us, under Becca or under AJ or Phyllis or any of the people that are on here. We can help you become a healthcare supplement expert, a healthcare supplement expert, a nutritional supplement expert. And that's really what I want to do. I mean, I love talking about this stuff and teaching, but I really want to have a team of people who are dedicated to this mission, who can go out and spread the word. So if you're interested, see Rebecca, see Phyllis, see Marilyn, or any of the folks whoever invited you, as Rebecca says.
Absolutely. And I actually had a comment come through wanting to know if you would be willing to mentor an ND, which is naturopathic.
I'd love that. Absolutely love that. And I love talking to healthcare professionals. So anybody out there, if you have a healthcare professionals are the perfect distributors because they really understand the stuff and they have patients who need this and they can help grow their business, become better professionals and make some money at the same time. And this stuff is, I know a lot of times lay people who don't study this stuff are a little intimidated to talk to healthcare professionals. But let me tell you something, I'm not intimidated to talk to healthcare professionals. And when I talk to them, they can't deny it. There's nothing that Dr. Wallach or myself or any of the healthcare professionals who are promoting longevity say that can be denied. Everything we talk about is pure biochemistry, nutritional chemistry, physiology, anatomy, and it's all backed up by voluminous literature. So to talk to a healthcare professional, I love doing it, and it's they represent a very powerful vector for spreading this information because they're seeing a lot of patients they already predisposed to understand it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Renee.
Yes.
Can we hear you?
I have a friend that has nerve damage that's causing his foot to not work, and it kind of rolls and he gets pain.
Is it from an accident or is it from just degeneration?
I think it's degeneration, and it's actually starting to affect his lower back. He gets shooting pains up and down his legs now.
How old is this person?
I think he's in his early 50s.
Okay, well, that's way too early. And then does this person have any other medical diagnoses when they're on drugs or any kind of illnesses or anything like that? They're seeing a doctor?
No.
Nothing,
No.
just a regular, normal, everyday person, and all of a sudden he's got this nerve damage.
Yeah, he goes and sees a neurologist again in a couple weeks, but I thought maybe I could run it by you to see if maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the fact that it's very unusual just to have nerve damage without having other things. The most common thing is most common cause of neuropathy, nerve pathology, is blood sugar issues. Now, blood sugar issues themselves are secondary to digestive issues. They go together. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but there are lectins, these molecules like gluten, the doc talks about all the time, that actually disturb the blood sugar system. They act like have pseudo insulin like effects, and they can throw off blood sugar control. So the digestive tract or digestive health is a precursor to disturbances in blood sugar control, and those are both two places that I would work. And I'll tell you more specifically here in a second. But the number one reason why people suffer from neuropathies is metabolic syndrome. And I'm sure, Rebecca, that you've studied neuropathies when you're studying metabolic syndrome, and you talked about it. Peripheral neuropathy goes hand in hand with diabetes. And here's another really interesting point. There's a vitamin that Doc talks about actually a lot. In fact, one of the first places I heard it was from Doc many years ago. That is absolutely, absolutely critical for helping the body control sugar. And Beyond Tangy Tangerine is loaded with this stuff. It was the very first vitamin that was discovered. And this vitamin was discovered when it was noticed that people who were deficient in this vitamin got neuropathy. And to this day, deficiencies are a recognized cause of, and supplementation is a recognized treatment for peripheral neuropathies. And Beyond Tangy Tangerine is loaded with vitamin B1. Not only is that important, by the way, for the blood sugar system, it's also important for the brain. When people are deficient in this vitamin, they start talking to themselves. They imagine things. They have delusions. They have emotional issues, mental health issues, aggressive behavior. In fact, this vitamin is so important that if they arrest somebody or find somebody who's drinking vodka out of a paper bag out on the street somewhere and they put him in the drunk tank, the first thing they stick in his blood is the same vitamin that we're talking about here, vitamin B1. So vitamin B1 is almost like a treatment for peripheral neuropathy. BTT. Don't underestimate your BTT. Second thing I would do is I would get them on the healthy blood sugar pack, with the idea that blood sugar control and metabolic syndrome play an important role in peripheral neuropathy. And not only will the blood sugar supplements in the healthy blood sugar pack take care or address the peripheral neuropathy, but also the ultimate EFAs, nature's aspirin, are also important for treating peripheral neuropathy. And then, of course, the whole digestive support element, because the molecule histamine, which we talked about in the past, which comes out of the intestine from bacteria that are secreted in the intestine, and also from immune cells that live in the intestine, not to mention foods that contain histamine, are also associated with neuropathies. So getting on the I-26, as well as the healthy digestive pack. And by the way, I like the powder. I know they got the tablets now. I think maybe even capsules. But the tablets, but the powder, you get much healthier doses with the powder. You can put the powder right in your smoothie. It tastes delicious. If you haven't had the birthday cake shake or the TMR shake, and Becca, when we went to that talk in Denver 3 months ago or so in Colorado, I got some birthday cake shake and I've been mixing it with my TMR. Man, is that delicious. And then you should throw in some I-26 in all your smoothies, by the way. It makes the smoothie taste nice and creamy, and it's a great way to support intestinal health. So working on the digestive system, Renee, is also important. Of course, if there's food intolerances or food allergies, I always say do a food diary. Let me just real quickly talk about this food diary. For some reason, it seems to be confusing, the food diary. Did you want to say something, Renee? Were you going to jump in?
No, I just had to kind of chuckle with the I-26. I've tried all three of them, and I actually like the wafers better.
Yeah, the wafers have a vanilla. I think they put vanilla in the wafers, right?
Yeah, but
the wafers have a nice kind of pleasant taste to them. You could do your hyperimmune egg just in water. You could do your I-26 powder just in water. But in a smoothie, it really makes the smoothie nice and creamy. Eggs are emulsifiers. So eggs make things creamy. That's why they're used in baking. They make things nice and creamy by pulling the oil and the water together in the cake. That's why egg proteins are used in skincare products as emulsifying agents. So when you put an egg in with something that's got a combination of water and liquid, it creams everything up, like an orange Julius, right? You ever have an orange Julius? An orange Julius is just plain old orange juice with an egg in it.
Yeah.
And yet it tastes so delicious, right? Because it pulls everything together, not to mention the fact that eggs are nature's perfect food. And the demonization of eggs, to this day, it astounds me how people who claim to be healthcare professionals can demonize this incredible, powerful food called an egg. So digestive support, Renee, and a food diary. And real quick, I was going to tell you about a food diary. Food diary is super easy. You just write down what you eat and then write down how you feel afterwards. However, when you're doing your food diary, you've got to make sure that you're only eating one type of food. If you eat a food that's got a bunch of working parts, you're not going to know what's causing what. So instead of a tuna salad sandwich, just have some tuna. Instead of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just have some peanuts. Because once you start combining things, it becomes very difficult to do. The reason a food diary is so important, there's 3 reasons why a food diary is so important. Number 1, it works. And your patient will say, oh my God, you know what you're talking about. And once they start to see, they make the connections. And number 2, a food diary vests the consumer or vest your client. They have to participate. And you always want your customer participating. You don't want to just be in this position of being didactic and telling them what to do. You want them involved in that, in their healing process. So the food diary helps vest the client or the customer in their own healing process. It demonstrates that you know what the heck you're talking about, that you know what the heck you're doing, and it works. Once the customer starts to see that every time they have corn, they bloat, or every time they have gluten, their MS symptoms get worse, or their brain fog gets worse, or every time they have beans, they get gas, or they break out with acne. It's a powerful understanding. Now, instead of being in this position where, oh my God, I'm breaking out. Why am I breaking out? Oh my God, my nerves are inflamed. Why are my nerves inflamed? Oh my God, my foot is burning. Why is my foot burning? Oh my God, I got this MS or this Parkinson's or this brain fog. What the heck's going on? All of a sudden they say, wow, I'm involved here. I have leverage here. I can stop eating the corn. I can start supplementing with the I-26 or the Nightly Essence or the Ultimate Enzymes. It gives the patient power. It's a point of power, a leverage point. And while I hate being the guy talking about food, I was talking to AJ yesterday on our call, and I was like, I know every time, not every time, but a lot of times when I talk about food and food diary, people are rolling their eyes. There goes Ben again, talking about the digestive system and talking about food. And I get that. I hesitate to do it sometimes, but you got to, because it represents a power point, a leverage point where we can take control of our bodies. In physics, there is a law. A law is like the law of gravity. It's always true. When you have a law in physics, that means this is always true. And there's a law called the law of conservation of momentum in a closed system. What does that mean? A closed system is a circle with a wall around it. And a closed system is separated, where the inside is separated from the outside. That's what makes something a closed system. Just think of a circle, think of the inside of a circle, and think of the outside of a circle. In a closed system, the inside is separated from the outside. The body is a closed system. And in a closed system, according to this physics law, everything stays the same. Law of conservation of momentum, conservation of energy, you could say, in a closed system. It's conserved, it stays the same. However, with the body, it's not really a closed system. And the main opening is what? What is the main way the body gets disturbed? Food. It's like this. See this water bottle? You see how the water is shaking? I don't know if you can see it. Every time you eat a food, you shake up the water. The system shakes up. And then it takes a while for it to stabilize. And then it stabilizes and it becomes still. You eat again, shakes it up. And then it becomes stable. The more you eat, the more everything is shaken up, and the more it's disturbed. It takes work to restabilize the system. This is why fasting is so important. During a fast, the system's stable. You eat food, boom, 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 boom. It takes a while for it to stabilize. And it takes work for it to stabilize. It takes energy for it to stabilize. It takes nutrition for it to stabilize. Under ordinary circumstances, the nutrition for the stabilization process will come from food. But because our food is deficient in nutrients, now we're destabilizing everything and we don't have the nutrients to restabilize. This is why fasting is so darn important. And it's why paying attention to the things that disturb the system are so important. And that's why the less you eat, the longer you live. And one of the best ways to eat less food, less calories that is to use your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. In fact, using your Beyond Tangy Tangerine with your meals will allow you to eat less food if you're trying to lose weight. Using your Beyond Tangy Tangerine before your meals will allow you to eat less food. So have a glass of BTT while you're eating. Have a glass of BTT. And by the way, digestion requires nutrients too. The digestive process requires nutrients too, so it'll be supporting digestion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
All right. Thank you, Renee. We have lots of questions, Pharmacist Ben. So do you have a hard stop?
A little after 2. Go a little bit after 2, but I got to be close to 2.
Well, let's go to the next one. The next question, we have a 70-year-old female, 153 pounds, 5'8", been diagnosed with hemochromatosis, hypothyroidism. She is on Armour, fibromyalgia, osteoarthritis, a pituitary mass, pre-diabetic, and non-alcoholic liver disease.
Okay, that's the kind of letters I get, like that gal. I get them all the time. And it's heartbreaking. The good news is she can turn this around quickly. because not only, as I said before, the more deficient you are, the faster you absorb your nutrients, the more you're disturbed the body is, the faster it begins to turn around. Begins to turn around. It's going to take a while to completely turn around, but you can begin to turn around faster the more problems you have. Just like the more weight you need to lose, the faster it comes off at first. Now, the last 10 pounds are the hardest pounds, but the first 50 pounds, they come off right away. So once you make changes, you're going to know when you have a lot of things going wrong, once you make some fundamental changes, cutting the head off the snake, the Gordian knot, remember the Gordian knot? Did we talk about the Gordian knot? Like the Gordian knot, once you slice through that knot, everything falls into place. Now, she's a classic, and I want to talk to this gal. She's not on the call, is she?
She is actually on the call.
I want to work with her personally. We're going to demonstrate. I'm going to make her a case study. Where is she? Can you put her on?
Okay, Catherine, can you unmute, please?
Okay.
Catherine, I'm going to work with you personally.
Catherine.
I want you to call. I want you to call me. And I'm going to work with you personally because I'll make you a case study. Have you supplemented before? Are you using longevity? Are you involved with the company?
I am. I just recently did.
Right on. We're gonna make you into a evangelist for longevity and an evangelist for nutritional supplementation. Is that fair? Is that a deal?
That's okay with me.
Okay,
That's
good.
right.
Well, first
Ben,
of all,
I gotta-
what's that?
I got to tell you, Ben, I've been listening to you for the past 15, 20 years and Doc Wallach.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm always nutritional oriented.
Good.
Everything's organic, everything's this, everything's
Perfect.
that. I'm
Perfect.
gonna
You're gonna do
start
great.
on that.
And I got to tell you, it sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on, but you're 71 and you sound great. So don't I think you got some chi. You know what chi is, Catherine?
Yes.
I think you got some good chi going on. So we're going to fix you up and you're going to be an evangelist for longevity and nutritional supplementation. Is that fair?
Wow.
All right.
That's great.
And by the way, you know what evangelist means? The word means etymologically?
Tell us.
It means good angel. You angel. EU means
Ah.
good. So you're going to be a good angel for longevity and nutritional supplementation. All right.
I'm ready.
So with everything you've heard me talking about the triangle of disease, no doubt. You're a poster child for the triangle of disease. You, my dear, and sometimes I'll do this, and people who don't know my work or haven't heard me before, they'll think I'm like some kind of sorcerer or wizard or psychic. I'm not a psychic. I'm not Psychic Ben. I'm Pharmacist Ben. But I'm going to tell you something. You've had digestive problems your whole life, and if you don't know them, you probably know it. But if you don't know it, find them because they're there. You can't have that kind of bodily breakdown at the relatively young age, believe it or not, of 71, without having long-standing digestive health issues. Okay, fibromyalgia fibromyalgia only happens to women, right? Or 90% of the time it's women. Do you know that?
Mostly. Yes.
Okay. You know hypothyroidism mostly happens with women.
Yes.
Okay. So what are we talking about here? Tell me some of the other things, Becca, that you mentioned. Those are the things that I remember.
The hemochromatosis.
Hemochromatosis and the liver issues, the fatty liver issues. Hemochromatosis is a liver issue. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Hemochromatosis. You already said we said you got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. By the way, they have to call it non-alcoholic because these days you don't have to be alcoholic anymore to have it. Used to be only alcoholics would get this kind of liver disease. Now they have to distinguish it as non-alcoholic because 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, only alcoholics would get this. Now non-alcoholics get this. What is the liver? The liver is the link between the 2 points of the triangle, first 2 points on the triangle of disease. The liver is the bridge between the digestive system and the blood sugar system. So when you have a liver issue, fatty liver disease, that is the bridge between the digestive system and the blood sugar system, and both those systems have to be addressed. Estrogen is cleared out at the level of the intestine and bile and the gallbladder and the liver. Fibromyalgia is an estrogen issue. That's why only women get it. It's a manifestation of excess estrogen. Hypothyroidism also involves excess estrogen or toxic estrogen more specifically, and that's also, again, liver, gallbladder, and intestine. So that's the core. You've heard me talk about the triangle of disease, and the third point is definitely going to play a role, but you could do miracles. Would seem like miracles. It's not miracles. It's just body as usual, standard operating procedure for the body. But it's going to seem like a miracle by working on digestion and the blood sugar system. That will address the liver. That will address your hemochromatosis. That will improve your fibromyalgia and your hypothyroidism and your fatty liver disease. So what I would do for you, and I'm going to work with you because I want to make sure that you get great results because you're going to be a great evangelist. Okay. Digestive.
She has a,
Go ahead. Sorry, Becca.
well, she has a great coach in Ruth Ellen. So the three of you.
All three of us. I don't mean to interfere here, but I want to be involved too. Because we want to make Ruth Ellen, we want to make Catherine a superstar here. Case study superstar. and it's going to be easy. If it was going to be hard, I wouldn't take you on, but this is going to be easy. No, I shouldn't. I would take. What's that? Yeah, Ruth, I'm going to work. We'll do 3 ways. Me, you, and Ruth Ellen will do 3 ways. So here's your homework, Catherine, so you can start the ball rolling, okay?
All right.
We want to know what specific foods and what specific digestive problems you have. Heartburn, nausea, bloating, probably constipation, I'm sure, is involved because that's part of hypothyroidism and fibromyalgia. Bloating, discomfort, SIBO signs of SIBO. Any skin issues? I didn't hear you say any skin rashes or anything like that.
I itch.
Okay, that's all part and parcel. Part and parcel. I'm not psychic, Ben. I'm pharmacist, Ben.
I love you if you can get rid of that.
We can. We get rid of all of it. We're going to get rid of all of it because we're cutting the head off the snake, right?
Okay,
We're
I'm
cutting the
ready.
Gordian knot. We're not untying it. We're slicing through it, and everything's going to fall into place. Okay, so it's going to. In the meantime, Catherine, I want you doing a food diary, and if you can fast for a day or two. That I forgot to mention this. When you fast before you do your food diary, symptoms become more prominent. They're easier to notice. A lot of times our symptoms go under the radar. When they happen all the time, the brain tunes things out that happen once in a while, that happen all the time. The brain only notices things that happen once in a while. So if you've had bloating your whole life or gas your whole life or constipation, whatever, your whole life, you may not notice things. So fasting resets everything. So all of a sudden it clears the deck and you start to notice things more prominently. So if you can, not everybody can fast, but if you can, that's great. 1 or 2 days fast, water fast. And then you do a food diary. If you can't, you can't. But if you can, it makes it easier to do your food diary. And I want Ruth Ellen and Catherine will reach out. All 3 of us will do a 3-way call, maybe sometime at the beginning or the middle of next week. And then I want to hear what you found out. Okay, Catherine?
Excellent.
And we'll put you on an entire program. We'll get you on the I-26 and the healthy digestion pack and the healthy blood sugar pack. We're going to fix you right up. And here's the cool thing. I know, Becca, you don't like saying this, but I'm going to say it because I'm a healthcare professional. I can say this. If you do everything we tell you to do, everything, that includes the supplements and the lifestyle and the food diet and everything, there is no way you cannot get better. No way that you cannot get better. It's a guarantee you'll get better. How much better you'll get is up to you, how much you participate. And it's a spectrum. If you participate 100%, you get 100% better. If you participate 5%, you get 5% better. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but you will get better if you follow everything we say. If you do everything we say, it's not possible not to. It's like if you go to the gym and you lift weights, you can't say with your willpower, I am not going to get bigger. I'm not going to get bigger. My muscles are not going to get bigger, and you're lifting weights. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. When you start to treat the body the way it needs to be treated and do the right things, do the things for the body that are the right things to do to the body, it will get better. And so I'm guaranteeing you with 100% certainty, if you do what we say, you're going to get better, and the degree you'll get better will depend on your participation.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Excellent. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Catherine. We look forward to following you and your results. Let's go to Phyllis next. Phyllis.
Phyllis. Hi,
Yes.
Phyllis.
Yes, Ben.
How come you never change? You look exactly the same 20 years ago, 25 years ago, last year, yesterday.
Thank you so much. I'm actually about to go to my 50th high school reunion.
Oh my gosh.
Can't believe it.
How's Andy?
He's fine. He's just
Okay.
right.
Okay, good.
I've got a couple questions I think are pretty quick.
Yes.
Olga on YouTube, she
Olga.
was taking the True to Life Daily Digest, which as we know was gone for a while.
Yes.
And she switched to N-acetylcysteine powder, 500 milligrams.
Wait a minute. She switched to N-acetylcysteine powder from what? From the
True to Life Daily Digest, which we didn't have for a while, you may recall.
I do. The Daily Digest is a packet that has pills in it.
Yes, yes.
One of the pills is N-acetylcysteine, I'm pretty sure.
In fact, I can real quick read you.
Read it
It
off to me,
has
yeah.
milk thistle, turmeric, dandelion root, prebiotics, probiotics, L-glutamine, N-acetyl D-glucosamine, aloe vera leaf, and enzymes.
Okay, so she when she couldn't get the Daily Digest, she replaced it with NAC powder.
Right. And it also has cofactors, milk thistle, and broccoli sprout powder. Now, if she switches back,
Yeah.
does she still need to take the 500 milligrams of the NAC powder?
It wouldn't hurt her, but it's not necessary. It's not absolutely necessary. She'll get everything from the Daily Digest, but it wouldn't hurt her to take it.
Okay.
And
And
the
then,
Daily Digest that's a pretty awesome supplement. I was very disappointed when it went away, but I'm glad it's back.
me too. So glad it's back. Now we have Carrie. Her sister-in-law is having twins today by C-section.
Congratulations.
And
Okay.
yes, and they were conceived by in vitro fertilization.
Okay.
She's wondering if there are any health implications in the future for mom or the babies.
Yeah, the baby will be compromised at the level of the digestive system, number one. And then depending on why they got the cesarean section, if there was some kind of metabolic issue that caused her not to be able to deliver vaginally, I don't know why she has to have a cesarean section, or maybe sometimes they do voluntary cesarean sections. So I don't know. I have to find that out. But when you do a cesarean section, you deprive the baby of that microbial bath that they get, that immersion in the bacterial coating that covers the baby as the baby passes through the birth canal. So that baby is going to be compromised there. So that's a baby that needs to have their digestive system really addressed. Now, the mom might also not be breastfeeding or not breastfeeding copiously enough or long enough. So the baby's going to have some issues if they're not addressed. And I would be making sure that baby is, if they're breastfeeding, I'd make sure the mom is taking very good care with her supplementation. If the baby is not being breastfed, hopefully, not breastfeeding is really tough because that already the baby's compromised by not having that microbial bath. But then if they're drinking formula or some kind of artificial breast milk, it's going to be a problem. There are breast milk banks that can be used, and they're not ideal, they're not perfect, but they're way better than the formula. And I would be doing that. Now, assuming the mom is breastfeeding, yes. Number one, mom should be on the Daily Digest. Mom should be on the Nightly Essence. Mom should be doing everything she can do to make sure her digestive system is supported, especially if she has leaky gut issues. Because if you have leaky gut issues, you're going to have breast milk issues. If you have breast milk issues, you're going to have baby issues. So if there's any digestive issues, she has to address those. If there's any gluten intolerance or lectin intolerance or any kind of food intolerances, the baby's going to get those immune factors that are secreted in response to the bad foods. Fried fats, disastrous. As important as the good fats are, we talked earlier, for the baby's brain and the baby's nervous system, that's how bad fried fats are. And that I'm talking about if the mom is eating them, they come out in the breast milk. So disturbances, anything that disturbs the quality and the integrity of fat molecules has to be avoided. That's, of course, deep frying, cooking, all that kind of stuff. Making sure that the mom is getting enough cholesterol. Making sure the mom is eating eggs, not cooking them too much, and organ meats. I call the organ meats, I call them the components in organ meats that are so important for building the cholesterol complex. Things like vitamin K and phospholipids and vitamin A and cholesterol. These are all important for building substances, and obviously you're building a baby. So making sure she's getting organ meats, bone soup would be great. TMR, whey protein would be great, and for the digestive system as well as for building the baby and for the immune system. There's molecules in the TMR shake that are mimics of molecules that are in breast milk. Whey protein at the end of the day is milk. It comes from milk. It comes from mammal secretions for the babies. So those things like lactoferrin and glutamine and cysteine that are in the TMR, which is an awesome tasting shake, by the way. And also, I think they're also in the new longevity shakes, also have the whey protein in them. Those will also be helpful. And then, of course, the Nightly Essence is an absolute must. My favorite probiotic. Get her on all that stuff.
Great advice for everybody.
Yes, that's great advice for everybody.
Yes.
Thank you. Back to you, Becca.
Thank you, Becca. I think I got a bowl here, Becca.
All right. Okay. Thank Thank you so much, Phyllis, for bringing those questions in from YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also here in the Zoom. We're out of time. Did you just say you have to bolt?
Yes, I do. It's already it's late.
Okay. Well, I do have questions that have been written in, and we've copied them into our chat so that we can see them afterwards. So we will be getting with Pharmacist Ben and getting answers for you. So if you have asked a question and we did not get to it, make sure that you email us questions at dailywithdoc.com so that we have a method of contacting you. Again, and that's questions at dailywithdoc.com. You can submit your questions there. If I could get my co-hosts on the screen with us, Pharmacist Ben, you are amazing. You are fabulous, but I can't do this by myself.
No.
So I have to have a team.
We
We don't have to do this. We don't have to do this by ourselves, which is fantastic, which I love the fact that you had that call to action. Folks, if you want to use your skills to help others and to combine them to make a message that is providing solutions and helping make a better health journey around the world, we invite you to join us. Get with the person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank and you'd like to join us, give us a call at 855-949-3377. The people that answer that phone line are handpicked. And, you know, as the volume increases with the phone calls, Doc, we're going to have some more spaces open for those special few. So just something to think about, folks. Thank you again for joining us here on Daily with Doc. My name's Becca Dukes. I'm the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health. Also, I am very honored that I have been able to be an assistant to Dr. Wallach, as he is the reason why we are here. And to be able to be honored to have these people that are on the screen with me working side by side is just absolutely incredible. We have Ruth Ellen Sanchez, the executive production manager for the show. I am the producer. She's the executive production manager. We have Marilyn, who is just an amazing co-host, bringing that skill of the ability to lightning type to us, and also Phyllis, who has that skill that she's also out on the different platforms bringing those questions in so we can get answers for our listening audience out on YouTube, Rumble, Patreon, Brighteon, Facebook, all these different places, and we got more that we're expanding to. So if you're on Pinterest, look for us, Daily with Doc, or is it Critical Health News, AJ? Look for both of us, okay? Both entities, and you will find us. And we also have Albert, who's helping to let people in, keep an eye on things. Thank you so much, Albert, joining us from South Africa. And we have what did we decide to call him? Because he has so many hats. Our Director of Marketing and Social Media. There we go. So thank you so much, AJ, for all that you do. And Pharmacist Ben, as being our leader, one of our amazing leaders, thank you for taking time out of your Friday to be here with us.
Love it. I love doing it. I love everybody. Thank you so much. And take advantage of me because I love talking to folks and I can help you build your business. Thank you, Becca.
All right.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you,
Phyllis,
Ben.
Marilyn, Doc, Ruth Ellen, Albert, everybody who's listening. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. And everybody, thank you again for investing this hour into your own health, Hour Plus. We'll see you next time. No live Zoom. For those of you who are here live with us, there will be no live Zoom next week, okay? But there will still be Pharmacist Ben Bites with Coach AJ. So make sure that you're watching Rumble and YouTube and Facebook for the announcement that they have gone live in the evenings, as they will continue to provide valuable information to help you as an individual be your most optimal best when it comes to wellness. Bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.